Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, what I like to do is I want to talk about my two favorite JFK researchers, and I want to point out some facts between my research and their research. Okay, my favorite two researchers are as follows: Jim Myers, God rest his soul, and Robert Groden. Okay, I respect these two researchers. I really do. I really respect these researchers here. Now, there's a lot of things, I respect about them and everything else. It's like I said, I don't have nothing bad to say about them or anything else. I've talked to them and everything. But what gets me is a lot of things that people don't understand, okay, about, my research and their research. I want to show you something here for a moment. Now, what does Jim Myers say to people? There was a crossfire in the JFK assassination. Am I correct? There was a crossfire. Okay? That's what Jim Myers tells us. Now, his book is called Crossfires. Now, I go and you look at my research. What are you seeing? You're seeing crossfire. Am I correct? You're seeing a crossfire. What's that tell you? Hey, I found the evidence that Jim Myers was talking about. So basically, my research is backing what he's been telling people all these years. Do you see what I'm saying? Let's look at Robert Groden for a moment. Robert Groden. He tells people, okay, that was shot to the manhole cover. He's recently saying this now, don't get me wrong. Years ago he wasn't talking about, but now he's talking about. So, like I said, I give people credit where credit is due. He talks about this one shot right here. What did I do? All I did was come along. I found the evidence that two shots struck that manhole cover. He's saying there's only one, but there's actually two. So I find the evidence right there, shot being strike the top corner, bullet ricocheting upward. Secret Service agents and police officers and stuff were looking around the manhole cover, retrieving a bullet there, stuff. So what I did was found the evidence, and I lined this back up, and it came from the rooftop of the county records building. So see, what I did was to help Robert Groden was I found the shot to the manhole cover. It proved there was another shot fired, and it proved there was another gunman in a different location, which was the rooftop of the county records building. That's what I did by photographic evidence. But people don't want to hear about this. People don't want to know about this. But when you look at my research, and people say, they study my research, they look at my research, and you look at my research, and you look at Jim Myers' research, and look at Robert Groden's research, you're going to say, hey, man, there's a lot of similarities there. Robert Groden says, hey, JFK was shot 4 times. I proved that JFK was shot 4 times. Even though Robert Groden says 2 shots in the head, 1 shot in the back, 1 shot in the throat, but I point out, no, there's actually 3 shots in the head, 1 shot in the back, because that was an exit wound in his throat. That's the only difference. Only difference. I place Oswald as being one of the assassins and being involved in the assassination. Robert Groden, Jim Myers, no, they don't. Oswald's a patsy. This is the big difference right here. Oswald, one person makes a big difference in everybody's research. There's Oswald. Oswald's a patsy. When the fact is, he wasn't a patsy, okay? Just like Robert Groden says, well, here's another shot that struck the chrome of the windshield. He shows this image right here. All I did was come along and find out where that shot came from. That shot came from the bullet exiting JFK's throat. And when that shot occurred and when it made contact with that chrome between the sun visors here. That's all I did. Okay, so see, I'm backing up a lot of stuff they say, but because I put Oswald in it, they want nothing to do with it. And then here's another thing too I want to point out. Let's pull up, say, this image right here. Okay, I have my gunmen in their locations. Why? Because this is what photographic evidence tells us. We see them with rifles in their hands, shooting their rifles from their locations and everything else. But, again, as they tell me on the phone, can we, this is on the phone now, can we take your gunman from shelter number 3, put a gunman behind the picket fence area? Can we take the fatal headshot and move it over here to the south side? Can we do this? Let's eliminate the gunman on the second floor. We'll keep the gunman on the rooftop of the county records building. And we'll eliminate Oswald being on one of it and put a gunman inside the Dealey Plaza building. This is what they want me to do. And I said, I can't do that because, see, when you're taking photographic evidence and you're taking it away, that means, one, they're not going to be able to see it. And a fatal headshot did come from the gunman inside of shelter number 3. There was no evidence to prove there was a gunman behind a picket fence. There's no evidence to prove there was any assassins on the south side. And, you know, photographic evidence shows us there was a gunman on the second floor of County Records building and on the rooftop of County Records building. And there's images and stuff and other things that back up Oswald being on the 6th floor Tech School Book Depository, right along with the Cal Cannon rifle, which is being a decoy. Okay, if we're going to eliminate all that, that means you're taking away all this evidence just because you want somebody in the picket fence area. You want somebody on the south side. You want somebody in that Dealey Plaza building. When what you need to do is concentrate on what is there and that's available to us as evidence, but they don't want to do that. Okay, like I said, there's a lot of similarities. I've talked to these people on the phone and stuff like that. They want to use part of my research, but they want me to add their research into mine. And is there a possibility? Just like I said, think about this one for a moment. Everybody can make the slightest mistake. The slightest mistake. And let me show you this. When you go to Dealey Plaza, which I'm going to zoom in, when you go to Dealey Plaza, that's a very small, confined place. It might look huge on films or images or one thing or another, or even in Google Earth stuff, but actually it's really small, confined place. They're claiming the shots came from the picket fence, but it was just over here, just a little bit, just quite a few feet over this way. Okay, quite a few feet over this way. It's just a location. The grassy knoll. The gunman is on a grassy knoll, right? Here's what they consider the grassy knoll area right here. Okay, this is what they consider the grassy knoll area right here. Shelter number 3 is in the grassy knoll area. Shelter number 3 is close by the picket fence. So yeah, a mistake could be made saying, hey, the shots came from the picket fence, but they came from shelter number 3. Okay, the problem is when it comes to researchers and stuff like that, and like I said, still, even to this day, my 2 top researchers is Jim Myers and Robert Groden. You know, they just want people, when I notice something in the JFK assassination, everybody wants all that fame. They want all that glory. Okay, they want to be known for this. They want to be known for that. And that's why I told these people, I offered it to them, hey, you know, I'll give you 50%. Okay, I'll give you 50% of my research. Because it's not about the fame, it's not about the money, it's not about the glory or anything else like that. It's about getting this evidence out there, getting this evidence shown to the people so they know there was a conspiracy and there was more assassins there. But they don't want to help that out. Even though I point out, said, hey, you know, what you're saying to people, I have the evidence to back it up. The windshield shot, you know, the chrome, the shot to the manhole cover, you know, the crossfire. I have that evidence. But you got Oswald in there, man. He's a patsy. That's what they're telling me. It's like, even though after they sit there and say things to me and stuff, I still respect these guys. I still consider them as the top 2 JFK researchers because they've been in it longer. But it's because of that. Because of Oswald. One person. Okay. You're asking me to switch my story around. Well, can you switch your story around a little bit? Can you say, hey, you know, I was wrong about the picket fence area. The gunman was in shelter. They don't want that. No, I got to be right about everything I say. I got to be right about everything I say. So you admit you're wrong. That's what they always want me to admit I'm wrong. Now I can use some of your stuff, but I don't want to use all of your stuff. Okay, well, you know, it's just it's kind of stupid. Okay, we're adults here, and that's why I look at everything as an adult. Okay. This is the reason why time and time again I've offered an open hand. I said, hey, let's all get together. Even before I went down to Dallas, I said I'd love to be able to have all these researchers down there with me at the same time so we can go over everything, over all the evidence and stuff, piece it all together, get it all done and finalized and over with so everybody knows, you know, so everybody knows the information. But they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. They never want to do it. I just want to make this video here because, you know, like I said, think about it. You know, look over the research. Look at my research. Things I'm pointing out, they have in their research as well. Crossfire. I show a crossfire. All I'm doing is showing the evidence that they was looking for. Basically, that's all I'm doing, is showing evidence that they was looking for as well. That's all I've done. And I showed it from the films and images that was taken that day. So in the description down below, you find a site where you can order my book, Evidence of Conspiracy, the only book you need in JFK assassination. Don't forget that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share this information, other information from other videos. Thank you, and you have a pleasant day.